Are you missing the signs when a younger woman is actually flirting with you? Look, I get it. Reading signals across age gaps can feel confusing and uncertain. But today, I'm revealing 9 unmistakable signs that younger women use to show romantic interest, backed by relationship psychology and real-world patterns. Gentlemen, pay close attention to these game-changing indicators. First, she finds reasons to touch you. Why would a younger woman keep creating opportunities for physical contact with you? Think about it. If she's constantly finding excuses to touch your arm, playfully push your shoulder, or let her hand linger on yours, that's no accident. According to studies on nonverbal communication, touch is one of the most reliable indicators of attraction. Psychologists agree that when someone repeatedly invades your personal space through physical contact, they're signaling comfort and interest that goes beyond friendship. Now, here's the thing, gentlemen. You need to differentiate between casual, polite touch and intentional, flirtatious touch. A quick tap on the shoulder? That could be anyone being friendly. But when she touches your forearm during conversation and lets her hand rest there for a beat longer than necessary, that's deliberate. When she playfully swats your shoulder after you make a joke, she's creating physical connection. When her hand accidentally brushes yours as you're walking side by side, and it happens more than once, trust me, that's calculated. Research on physical boundaries shows that we're incredibly protective of our personal space, except with people we're attracted to. So when a younger woman consistently breaches that boundary with you, she's testing your comfort level while simultaneously creating intimacy. Pay attention to the frequency and the lingering quality of these touches. Does her hand stay on your arm for 2-3 seconds? Does she find reasons to adjust your collar or pick invisible lint off your shirt? These are all green lights. Here's why this matters specifically in the age gap dynamic. Younger women use touch with older men they're interested in as a way to break down the psychological barrier that age creates. She's signaling that she's comfortable with you, that the age difference doesn't matter to her, and that she wants to establish physical familiarity. It's her way of saying, I see you as a man I'm attracted to, not just as someone older. So, how do you respond? When you notice this pattern, and I mean consistent, repeated touching, reciprocate appropriately. A light touch on her back as you guide her through a doorway, a brief hand on her shoulder when making a point. Keep it respectful, keep it brief, and match her energy. Don't overdo it. But don't ignore the invitation either. Now, physical touch is powerful, but there's another sign that's even more revealing. Second, extended eye contact. Ever notice her holding your gaze just a little longer than normal? Like you're talking and suddenly you realize she's looking at you with an intensity that feels different? Relationship psychologists consistently point to prolonged eye contact as one of the most powerful indicators of romantic interest. Studies show that when 2 people hold eye contact for more than 3 to 4 seconds, it activates the same neural pathways associated with attraction and bonding. So when she's locking eyes with you guys, she's not just being polite, she's creating intimacy. Now, here's what you need to watch for. The triangle gaze. This is when her eyes move from your eyes down to your lips, then back up to your eyes. Experts call this a subconscious signal of desire. She's literally looking at your mouth because part of her is thinking about kissing you. It's quick, it's subtle, but once you know to look for it, you'll spot it every time. But let's talk about the difference between polite eye contact and flirtatious gazing. Polite eye contact, that lasts maybe 2 seconds during conversation, then naturally breaks away. Flirtatious eye contact, that's when she holds your gaze for 4, 5, even 6 seconds. That's when there's this moment where you both know you're looking at each other longer than normal and neither of you looks away. There's almost a tension to it, right? That tension is attraction. Here's the thing about age gap dynamics, gentlemen. When a younger woman maintains prolonged eye contact with an older man, it's even more significant because she's displaying a level of confidence and directness that cuts through any social awkwardness about the age difference. Your mature confidence, that self-assured way you can hold her gaze without nervousness, makes this exchange incredibly powerful. She's matching your energy, meeting you eye to eye, signaling that she sees you as an equal in this attraction. So, what should you do? When she holds your gaze, hold it back. Don't immediately look away out of nervousness or doubt. 3 to 5 seconds is the sweet spot, long enough to acknowledge the connection, not so long that it becomes uncomfortable. Maintain a soft, warm expression. Maybe let a slight smile play at your lips. Show her you're receiving her signal and you're confident enough to respond. So eye contact is crucial, but gentlemen, watch what she does with her body positioning. Third, she closes the distance. Have you noticed her consistently positioning herself near you, even when there's plenty of space elsewhere? Think about this. In a room full of people, she somehow ends up standing right next to you. At a gathering, she sits in the chair closest to yours. This isn't coincidence, gentlemen. Research on proxemics, the study of personal space, shows that we maintain specific distances based on our relationship with someone. Strangers and acquaintances, we keep them at about 4 feet or more. But people we're attracted to, we want them within our intimate zone, which is 18 inches or closer. Now here's what experts have found. When a younger woman repeatedly invades that personal bubble with an older man, she's doing something very deliberate. She's finding excuses to be physically near you, standing close while waiting for drinks, sitting next to you when other seats are available, positioning herself so your arms or legs are almost touching. During conversation, notice if she leans in toward you, even when the environment isn't particularly loud. That lean in is powerful, guys. It's her body literally gravitating toward yours. Here's why proximity matters even more in age gap dynamics. When a younger woman deliberately closes the physical distance with an older man, she's breaking through social barriers. Society has certain expectations about age-appropriate interactions, right? So when she's consistently positioning herself in your intimate space, she's testing your comfort level with the age difference and signaling that she's comfortable with it. She's saying, I don't care about conventional boundaries. I want to be close to you. Now, how do you recognize intentional versus coincidental proximity? Simple. Look for the pattern. Once might be coincidence, twice might be chance. But if she's consistently finding ways to be physically near you across multiple encounters and different settings, that's intentional. Notice if she maintains that closeness, even when given opportunities to step back. If someone bumps into her and she has to move, does she return to that close position? That's your answer. Your move? Don't back away when she closes the distance, but don't crowd her either. Hold your ground, maintain that comfortable closeness, and let her feel that you're secure enough in yourself to exist in that intimate space with her. Your stillness and confidence in close proximity speaks volumes. All right, so she's getting close, but there's another physical tell that's impossible to fake. Fourth, playful hair touching. Why does she suddenly become more conscious of her hair around you? You're talking to her, and her hand keeps moving to her hair, twirling it around her finger, tucking it behind her ear, running her fingers through it. Gentlemen, this isn't random fidgeting. Evolutionary psychologists have studied preening behaviors for decades, and here's what they found. When a woman is attracted to someone, she instinctively engages in self-grooming displays. It's a biological signal that dates back to our earliest ancestors. She's making herself more attractive in your presence. Now, let's break down the specific types of hair touching you should watch for. The twirl, when she wraps a strand around her finger, often while maintaining eye contact or listening to you speak. That's playful, flirtatious energy. The tuck, when she repeatedly tucks her hair behind her ear, even when it doesn't need tucking. This is her way of revealing her face and neck to you, making herself more visible and vulnerable. Then there's the run-through, when she runs her fingers through her hair from roots to ends, sometimes flipping it or tossing it slightly. Research shows this is one of the most common preening behaviors women exhibit when they're trying to attract male attention. Now, why is this particularly significant in the older man, younger woman dynamic? Because younger women often emphasize classic femininity signals. when they're attracted to older men. She's highlighting her youth, her vitality, her beauty. That hair play is her way of drawing your attention to her feminine attributes. She knows, consciously or not, that her youthfulness is attractive to you, and these gestures amplify that appeal. It's her saying, "Notice me. See how attractive I am." So, how do you read this correctly? Look at the frequency. If she's constantly touching her hair throughout your conversation, multiple times per minute, that's a strong indicator. But you also need to distinguish this from nervous habits. Here's the difference. Nervous hair touching tends to be repetitive and mechanical, almost compulsive. Flirtatious hair touching is slower, more deliberate, and often accompanied by a smile or direct eye contact. Nervous fidgeting happens when she's looking away or seems uncomfortable. Attraction-based preening happens when she's engaged with you, looking at you, smiling. Now here's where it gets interesting, gentlemen. Watch how she acts around you versus others. Fifth, you get different treatment. Does she seem to light up differently when you're around compared to others? Like, you walk into a room and suddenly her whole energy shifts. She becomes more animated, more engaged, more present. Social psychology studies on selective attention show that we unconsciously adjust our behavior around people we're attracted to. We become more expressive, more attentive, more alive. So when a younger woman treats you noticeably different from how she treats everyone else, gentlemen, that's a massive signal. Now, watch for these specific behavioral shifts. When you're present, does her energy level spike? Maybe she's been having a casual conversation with colleagues, seeming relaxed and somewhat reserved, but the moment you join the group, she becomes more enthusiastic. Her voice gets more animated, her gestures become more expressive, she laughs more freely. Psychologists call this impression management. She's unconsciously or consciously trying to present her best, most appealing self to you. Pay attention to her appearance patterns. Does she seem to put extra effort into how she looks when she knows she'll see you? Maybe you've noticed she's more dressed up. Her makeup is more carefully done. Her outfit is more thoughtfully chosen on days when your paths will cross. Research indicates that people invest more in their appearance when anticipating interaction with someone they're attracted to. This isn't vanity, it's intentionality. Here's another huge tell: inside jokes and personal rapport building. Does she reference things from previous conversations that only you two would understand? Does she create little callbacks to shared moments? Does she text you memes or articles that relate specifically to topics you've discussed? These are relationship building behaviors, guys. She's constructing a private world that exists between just the two of you, separate from her interactions with others. So how do you observe this accurately? Start paying attention in group settings. Don't just focus on her interactions with you. Watch how she engages with others. Does her face literally brighten when you speak? Does she orient her body toward you even when talking to someone else? Does she find excuses to bring you into conversations? The contrast will tell you everything. A slight difference might just be politeness or professional courtesy, but a significant, consistent difference, that's attraction, gentlemen. Trust me, guys, this differential treatment connects directly to our next sign. Sixth, she asks personal questions. Is she genuinely curious about your life beyond surface-level small talk? Think about the questions she's asking you. Are they going deeper than, "How was your weekend?" Or, "What do you do for work?" Relationship experts consistently emphasize that intimacy builds through vulnerability and disclosure. According to research on interpersonal connection, when someone asks personal, meaningful questions, they're signaling a desire to know the real you, not just the surface version. And gentlemen, that's a clear indicator of romantic interest. Now, let's talk about the types of questions that reveal attraction. Is she asking about your past relationships, not in a nosy way, but with genuine curiosity about what you've learned, what you value, what went wrong? Is she interested in your life experiences, your travels, your challenges, your proudest moments? Does she want to know about your future plans, your goals, your dreams? These aren't questions you ask someone you're casually acquainted with. These are questions you ask when you're trying to understand someone on a deeper level, when you're assessing compatibility. Pay close attention to her active listening and follow-up questions. She doesn't just ask a question and move on. She actually listens to your answer, processes it, and asks thoughtful follow-ups. Wait, so how did that make you feel? Or, what did you learn from that experience? These follow-ups show she's not just making conversation, she's genuinely invested in understanding you. And here's a major tell. She remembers details from previous conversations. You mentioned your sister 3 weeks ago, and today she asks how your sister's job interview went. That's not coincidence, guys. That's someone who's paying attention because you matter to her. So how do you distinguish genuine curiosity from polite conversation? Simple. Notice the depth and frequency. Polite conversation stays safe. Weather, work, weekend plans. Genuine interest goes deeper. Values, vulnerabilities, visions for the future. And the frequency matters. If she's consistently asking these deeper questions every time you interact, that's a pattern of interest. One personal question might be conversational. 5 or 6 across multiple interactions, that's intentional investigation. How should you respond? Answer authentically, gentlemen. Don't give her surface-level responses or deflect with humor. If she's brave enough to ask real questions, be confident enough to give real answers. Share your experiences, your lessons learned, your genuine thoughts. This is your opportunity to show her the depth and maturity that makes you attractive. And ask her questions in return. Show her you're equally interested in knowing who she really is. So she's digging deeper into who you are, but gentlemen, watch how she engages on social media. 7th, active social media engagement. Have you noticed she's liking, commenting, and viewing your posts consistently? Like, you share something on Instagram or LinkedIn, and within minutes, sometimes seconds, she's already interacted with it. Gentlemen, in today's dating landscape, social media engagement is a major indicator of interest. Modern dating research shows that digital communication patterns reveal a lot about romantic attraction. When someone consistently engages with your online presence, they're keeping you on their mind and making sure they stay on yours. Now, let's break down what active engagement actually looks like. First, quick responses to your posts. You share a photo, an article, a thought, and she's one of the first to like or comment. That's not algorithmic luck, guys. She's got your notifications turned on, or she's checking your profile regularly. Studies on digital communication patterns show that we prioritize content from people we're interested in. She's making you a priority. Watch for her initiating conversations through DMS. She doesn't just like your post and move on. She slides into your messages with a comment about it. I loved what you said about that restaurant, or that photo from your hike is amazing. Where was that? She's using your content as a bridge to private conversation. That's strategic and intentional, gentlemen. And pay attention to your stories. Is she viewing them immediately, often within the first few viewers? That means she's actively checking for your updates throughout the day. So, how do you read these engagement patterns correctly? Look for consistency and initiative. If she's engaging with most of your posts over weeks or months, that's not casual scrolling. That's intentional attention. If she's the one initiating DM conversations, not just responding, she's pursuing connection. If she's sharing content with you unprompted, she's thinking about you. Now, digital connection is one thing, but real-world social integration, that's next level. 8, she includes you socially. Is she making efforts to bring you into her social circle or plans? Think about this, guys. Is she inviting you to group hangouts, events, or gatherings where her friends will be? Is she finding ways to integrate you into her social world? Psychologists who study relationship progression emphasize that social integration is one of the strongest commitment indicators. When someone wants to blend you into their existing social life, they're signaling that they see you as more than just a casual acquaintance. They're essentially saying, I want the people who matter to me to know you. Now let's look at the specific behaviors that reveal this. First, inviting you to group settings. Maybe it's a birthday party, a dinner with friends, a casual get-together. She's creating opportunities for you to meet the people in her life. And here's the big one, introducing you to her friends, especially her female friends. Research shows that women seek validation from their close friends about potential romantic partners. If she's bringing you around her inner circle, she wants their approval, which means she's seriously considering you as someone she wants to pursue. Pay attention to whether she mentions you to others in her life. You might find out through mutual connections that she's talked about you, brought up your name in conversations, shared stories about interactions you've had. That means you're occupying mental space even when you're not around. She's weaving you into her narrative. Watch for her creating opportunities for accidental run-ins. She suggests grabbing coffee at a place she knows you frequent. She shows up at events where she knows you'll be. She manufactures proximity because she wants more time with you. And gentlemen, this is huge. Is she making future plans that include you? There's this concert next month you'd love, or we should check out that new restaurant when it opens. Future-oriented language indicates she's thinking about you in her tomorrow, not just her today. So how do you read invitation sincerity? Look at the type of events she's inviting you to. If it's intimate gatherings with close friends rather than large, impersonal events, that's more significant. Notice if she stays close to you during these social settings, introducing you actively and making sure you're comfortable. Does she check in with you, bring you into conversations, make you feel included? That attentiveness shows she cares about how you're experiencing her world. All right, gentlemen, we've covered a lot, but this final sign might be the most telling of all. 9th, she gets playfully jealous. Does she seem subtly bothered when other women get your attention? Maybe you're talking to a female colleague or friend, and you notice her energy shift. She becomes a little quieter, a little more observant, or suddenly finds a reason to insert herself into the conversation. Gentlemen, this is playful jealousy, and relationship research shows that mild jealousy is actually an investment indicator. When someone feels a twinge of possessiveness over you, it means they've mentally claimed you to some degree. They see you as theirs, or at least as someone they want to be theirs. Now, let's break down what playful jealousy looks like in practice. First, light teasing about other women. She makes comments like, "Oh, so you and Sarah seem to get along really well," with a playful but pointed tone. Or she jokes, "I bet you have women lining up," while watching your reaction carefully. These aren't casual observations, guys. She's fishing for information about your romantic availability and interest level. Studies on courtship behavior show that this kind of teasing is her way of gauging competition without being too direct. Watch for questions about your dating life or female friends. "So are you seeing anyone?" Or, "Is that woman you mentioned before just a friend?" She's trying to map out your romantic landscape, figure out where she stands, and assess whether she needs to compete for your attention. Pay attention to her body language when other women approach you in social settings. Does she position herself closer to you? Does she touch your arm or find a way to physically claim space next to you? That possessive body language is her nonverbal way of signaling to both you and the other woman that she has a stake in you. Notice competitive behavior to reclaim your attention. If another woman makes you laugh, does she immediately try to be funnier? If someone else engages you in conversation, does she find a way to redirect your focus back to her? Psychologists note that this competitive instinct reveals how much she values your attention and approval. She doesn't want to be just another woman in your orbit. She wants to be the woman. Now, here's the critical distinction, gentlemen. There's a balance between playful, healthy jealousy and concerning, possessive jealousy. Playful jealousy is lighthearted, comes with smiles and teasing, and doesn't attempt to control your behavior. It's her saying, "I like you enough that I don't love seeing other women getting your attention, but I trust you and I'm confident enough to joke about it." Concerning jealousy is accusatory, angry, controlling, or attempts to isolate you from other people. That's a red flag. What we're talking about here is the former, the subtle, flirtatious kind that actually signals healthy romantic interest. Here's why this matters specifically in age gap dynamics. When a younger woman shows territorial behavior with an older man she's attracted to, It's because she's aware that older men are often highly desirable to women of all ages. You have experience, stability, maturity, qualities that make you attractive to many women. So when she shows that playful jealousy, she's essentially trying to claim you before someone else does. There's a competitive instinct at play because she knows she's not the only one who might see your value. She's staking her claim early. This also reveals how seriously she's considering you. If she didn't care about you romantically, she wouldn't care who else gets your attention. The fact that she's bothered, even subtly, shows investment. She's thinking about you as someone she wants for herself, not just someone she casually enjoys talking to. So, how do you distinguish healthy interest from red flags? Healthy jealousy is occasional, playful, and comes with self-awareness. She might even laugh at herself for feeling that way. It doesn't escalate or become controlling. Red flag jealousy is frequent, intense, and comes with demands or accusations. She's trying to dictate who you can talk to or spend time with. Trust your gut on this one, guys. If her jealousy makes you feel appreciated and desired, that's healthy. If it makes you feel trapped or controlled, that's a problem. How should you respond with maturity? Reassure her without being condescending. When she makes those playful, jealous comments, you can smile and say something like, "You don't have anything to worry about," or, "Trust me, you have my attention." Don't dismiss her feelings or mock her for them. Acknowledge the underlying emotion while maintaining your confident frame. And gentlemen, don't play games by trying to make her more jealous. That's immature and counterproductive. If she's showing interest through mild jealousy, respond by showing her she's the one you're focused on. So, there you have it, gentlemen. 9 clear signs that she's flirting with you. Now you know the 9 unmistakable signs a younger woman is flirting with you. You have the knowledge to read her signals with confidence and take appropriate action without second-guessing yourself. If you found this helpful, hit that like button and drop a comment about which signs surprised you most. Want to know what to do next? Watch my video on how to ask a younger woman out, or check out the biggest mistakes older men make with younger women. Thanks for watching, gentlemen. Remember, your experience is your advantage. Use it wisely.